is the absolute necessity to care for others. Our conversation today is about resilience through these tough times and about our collaborative efforts in response to this pandemic to simply care for others. I'm Rosalie Hamilton, and I have the honor of leading the Lasco Foundation, which our chairman, Lascelles Chin, has described as a legacy greater than all his business achievements combined. Yes, quite awesome. Most Jamaicans know the brand Lasco, and they know the man behind the brand. And they also know his heart, his love for Jamaica and the Jamaican people. In fact, in 2014, he was ranked the #1 business leader doing good for Jamaica. The Honorable Lascelles Chin is founder and executive chairman of the Lasco affiliated companies, and he's also chairman of the Lasco Chin Foundation. And I'll have him start us off with a few opening remarks. Over to you, Chairman.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this important discussion about what we can achieve when we work together. The COVID-19 pandemic has created a great deal of hardships for the most vulnerable among us, both here in Jamaica and across the world. I am very pleased to see this partnership with the Lasco Chin Foundation and would like to thank all the partners for the tremendous work that has been done in response to the national crisis. Through your collective efforts, you have touched the lives of more than 35,000 persons in need, and you have demonstrated to the Jamaican and the world that you care. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Lasco Chin Foundation, I want to congratulate you all for a job well done. I also want to let you all know that you have my full support for this collaborative effort, and I wish you all the very best.
Great, thank you so much, Chairman. Thank you very much. All right, you know, there's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. That proverb kind of describes our conversation today. You know, in March 10th in Jamaica was our first case of the COVID virus, that's the first positive case. And since then, we have had a range of responses. In fact, our chairman, the consummate philanthropist that he is, responded very quickly within the first 3 weeks. And so the Lasco affiliated companies provided about 6 million Jamaican dollars. That's about 43,000 US dollars in supporting the government's effort to assist the Bull Bay community that was in quarantine. There is also the Progressive Grocers of Jamaica Foundation provided care packages. He responded to needy individuals. There's a lot of initial response. And guided by his work and his directions, he said, listen, the Lasco Chin Foundation must step up to the plate. We quickly utilized the empty warehouse that we had. And within the first week of April, just within 3 weeks of this first case, we were packaging and delivering care package across Jamaica. We were able to respond fast, but we could only go so far. And given the scale of need in Jamaica, we quickly reached out to our partners and they reached out to us. And before you knew it, within the first 2 months of the COVID pandemic here in Jamaica, we were in the throes of managing and distributing 9,083 packages across 12 parishes in Jamaica. And we had 19 partners. That's just within the first 2 months. So we're going to hear from some of these partners here today. We have 11 partners. We have much more up to this point, but we have 11 on the call. And I want to start with the leader of the pack, the organization that provides the greatest number of care packages to communities in Jamaica. And I want to turn over now to Tanika McCarthy-Allen. She's CEO of the JWN Foundation. And I just want to know, Tanika, what motivated you? Why this scale of support? It was huge.
So thank you, Professor, and thank you, Chairman, and thank you, partners, for allowing us this moment. For us at JRNFU, the foundation is our vehicle for giving back. This year, JRNFU celebrates 195th years of existence. And we like to say that we've been there for everything. We've been there for every disaster. We've been there for every response. And so when COVID became a reality for Jamaica, as it turns out, JRNFU was the first company impacted. And that called it into light very quickly. With our footprint being located across 3 parishes and our employment base, almost 1,000 persons directly employed and multiple indirectly employed, we knew our response had to be holistic, and it had to be impactful, and it had to be far-reaching. And so for us, we looked to our partnership network. But a video is coming up that will show you a little bit of a collaborative effort with our round-robin groups, and then I'll speak further.
Okay, great.
Today, we are really delighted as JRNFU, through our JRNFU Foundation, to be providing 5,000 food packages for distribution in Jamaica's hardest hit communities during this COVID-19 period. We are utilizing our bar community, which we believe are the bedrock of Jamaica. And so through our round robins, we are partnering with them to deliver these food packages, and they will then identify the neediest persons within their community.
That was one of the responses that we're proudest of, because it came from the grassroots. This was community bars, leaders in their communities coming to us and telling us what they needed, and we then responded. But it was one of the responses from the JRNFU Foundation. During that time, we were able to also respond to the community of Corn Peace with 2,000 food packages. And most recently, we have helped to energize the economic base with our bar restarter pack of $35 million. Total investment to date, cash outlay, $60 million. A considerable investment from JRNFU. And revenues foregone with our very first response, 100,000 liters of high-strength alcohol, 250 million. This is a signal that we are here. We are part of the Jamaican community. We cannot exist without the fabric of Jamaica, and we understand that our brands touch all lives in all communities.
Wow, thank you so much. That is amazing. All right, so the tourism industry was really hard hit, and we're still trying to grapple with that. The Sandals Foundation responded very early as well. And I wanted to, I now want to hand over to Heidi Clark, Executive Director of the Sandals Foundation. Heidi, tell us, how did Sandals respond?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us this morning to share. I want to recognize the chairman of Lasco Chin Foundation, Honorable Lasco Chin, and of course, Professor Rosalie Hamilton. You're doing an exceptional job, and we are really proud to partner with you during this time. Sandals Foundation, of course, is 12 years old this year, and we are operating not just in Jamaica, but across 6 countries here in the Caribbean, continuing all of our work, but unfortunately we are very familiar with dealing with disaster and disaster relief, and this certainly comes into play with this pandemic. We've recognized that there are so many emotions and so much that people are having to deal with during this time. From loss of job, loss of income, how they'll educate, feed, and care for the people they love. And this certainly, the uncertainty of the future, I think, is also something. All these are contributing to mental stress, mental health issues, crime. So we certainly feel that everybody needs to be playing their part during this time. And I think we've done an excellent job here in Jamaica by developing these partnerships, leaning on each other's strengths so that we could really reach all corners across Jamaica. And I have to say, we're especially proud of the partnership we've had with Lasco because of the fact that you have allowed us to distribute these packages to areas that were very hard hit in the rural communities of the South and the West that have felt the impact of the tourism impact of this pandemic. So we have worked alongside community partners from the CDC in Crawford CDC and Hanover Poor Relief in the West to ensure that those senior citizens have gotten packages. And I'm very happy to say that even though the tourism and travel industry has really struggled during this time, the Sounds Foundation has been able to continue our work. And our major focus is how do we care for individuals and how do we help one another to recover, obviously, from this pandemic. And so outside of care packages, our focus has been on building the healthcare capacity, looking at the purchase of ventilators, which we have done with various partnerships, outfitting the doctor and nurses lounge at the St. Anne's Hospital, and then of course looking to see how we can get young people access to virtual education, which we see is so crucial during this time and can be very important going forward. The value of our work to date has been over $9 million. And as I said, you know, Sandal's home birthplace is here in Jamaica, but we continue to do work across the region as we have to. And of course, that's not possible without our guests, without our partners, without our incredible team members that have helped to make it possible. So I just want to say that I had the opportunity to help personally pack care packages and walk through communities to deliver these packages. And people are beyond grateful for these packages and for this donation. But I think it goes way beyond this type of outreach, because this outreach shows people that they're cared for and they're not alone during this time, which is super important. So I strongly believe that it's contributed to people's health and nutrition, but it's also contributed to their mental health, which I think helps to safeguard communities, and it's how we really have to continue to go forward. So I just have to say that Sounds Foundation remains committed to our partnerships, to continuing to make this happen, and that we're super grateful to all of the partners here on this call and moving forward that are going to continue to make this possible, because we're certainly not at the end, but we are on the road to recovery. And I just wanted to ask, I hope he's on the call now, Mr. Tryson Walters. He's the chairman of the Crawford Community Development Committee. He was our partner during our outreach on the South Coast, so I don't know if we're seeing him on the call as yet.
Is he on?
Say a few words.
If not, we can come back to him,
okay,
because
great.
we have a tight schedule. But you've heard from two awesome corporate players in Jamaica through their foundations have done phenomenal work. I'm going to turn now to part of the government's response, and the government we know has done a lot. The Ministry of Tourism and the Minister and the Tourism Enhancement Fund all have responsibility to lead this tourist industry through this crisis. And I know they've been extremely busy. And so why did they get involved in care packages? That's the question I have for Carolyn McDonald-Riley. She's the Director of Tourism Linkages Network of the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Carolyn?
Good morning. Good morning, Paul. Thank you for inviting us. And also accolades to Mr. Chin, Chairman, and to all my colleagues. The Tourism Enhancement Fund, which is also a part of the tourism industry, would have seen the need, like all of us, to reach out. And while the government overall had a care package program for different kinds of people through Best Cash, through care programs, there were a group of people involved in our industry that would not necessarily meet any of the requirements that was already set out by government. So we're talking about persons who would have been employed in the tourism sector, but indirectly employed. So for example, persons would have been employed in the garden area, persons who would have been involved in some of the small properties, but through somebody who was employed, but they all make up the tourism sector. Persons, craft producers, persons who sell at the bus stop by virtue of their locations to tour. So there's a whole group of people out there that don't meet anybody's criteria for a package, except if somebody actually pass in and see them and say, okay, can we help? So the Tourism Enhancement Fund looked at a program which was crafted to help two sets of people. One, we looked at how do we purchase some of the excess foods that the farmers had, and how do we also help some of these vulnerable people. But in doing that, I remember one of our beneficiaries, Father Jim in Negril, said, but we need other things. We need proteins. We need some other things apart from the food. And we reached out to a number of entities, Lasco included, and Lasco came up with the best packages. And for me, my crowning moment was when I looked at the list that Prof sent us and I saw these pharmaceuticals, meaning that it wasn't just something of food. It was also something that assisted you if you were in deep rural and you had a fever. It was something that if you had a cold, it was a really comprehensive package from our point of view. And if you think I was happy, when we presented those baskets, persons were elated. I had all kinds of people calling me. I had to say, let me get my set of baskets first, and I tell you who give it to me. And it was just a joy, not just for the recipients, but for us to have participated with this vulnerable set, meaning that they don't have a bank account, they're not readily employed. So there were all of these people who we reached out to through different community groups. So we established a community of churches and the community, rather the Chamber of Commerce, to find these people. So these are people who are on the ground, who would know where these people are, who would visit them, give them the packages one by one. And we felt that our contribution was impactful to reach these people who wouldn't necessarily come out and have a voice to say, we are part of the tourism industry. But the churches and so forth knew that by virtue of being employed by selling that jerk chicken on the side of the street to a passing tourist, that they were involved. And those are the people who we reached out to.
Wonderful.
We also had other persons within our craft sector who, yes, they sell in the craft market, but guess what? They didn't qualify again for one reason or another. And therefore, our testimonial is in the form of the president of our Kingston Craft Market, Ms. Dob. She's on, and I'll let you speak to her, and she can tell you with her own voice how she benefited from this program.
Hi, Carol. How are you? Yes, go ahead.
I know she's on. Ms.
Yes.
Carol Jamison?
All right, we're going to have time to come back before we end. We're going to try and hear from her directly because we do want to hear from our beneficiaries. You're right, Caroline, it's all about caring. And I know that the church has for a long time been at the forefront of teaching us how to care. The Operation Save Jamaica has a strong and long reputation for church outreach activities. And Joanna Simpson from the Operation Save Jamaica group is here. And I want her to tell us a little about how OSJ, oh, Carol, you're there.
Yes.
All right, can you just tell us quickly, how did all these care packages, what did it mean to you?
Okay, like Mrs. McDonald Riley said, we were experiencing a sense of hopelessness, being the first and hardest hit in the industry, you know, and the persons are sitting at home and anxiety starts stepping in. It affected us financially, emotionally, and physically. Financially, the bills were still coming and there were no way of paying them. Some landlords are not as, you know, understanding as they could have been. Emotionally being scared all the time to go outside, not knowing who is asymptomatic. You're scared for your children, you're scared for, you know, just about everybody around you. It starts producing some sort of illnesses too. Persons in my organization have to be going to the doctor for different reasons, but it all winds down to stress. The sense of hopelessness was just, you know, rampant. TF, through the Honorable Minister Bartlett, contacted us, Mrs. Doc McDonald Riley, And that spur our hope. You know, we realized that somebody out there cared. And so we start getting the baskets. And when I saw that there were persons too who, for some reasons, as Ms. Riley said, weren't able to apply for the grant, some informal workers, etc. We were asking for other things. And this was when Lasco came riding on their white horse. We just thank you. The persons were really appreciative of the baskets, the groceries, and all the contents, because it was just things that needed now. So we're just thankful, and we're just gonna ask the Lord to just bless Mr. Lassell Chin. I mean, from experience over the years, his company has always came through, even when we were up by 27 Red Hills Road in another organization. So I can just remember that Lasco has always been this kind of company that assists the vulnerable. Let me use the opportunity also to just thank the Minister Bartlett, Mr. Chin again, you, Miss Hamilton, Lisa Binder, Carolyn Riley, you're an amazing person. Tashika Clark, Yannick Presley, you know, all the persons that were involved in assisting us. We are truly grateful.
Thank you so much for your kind words, and really glad that, you know, it made an impact as it did. All right, we're going to move on to...
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to move on now to hear from the churches. Joanna Simpson, tell us, you know, how has the church community responded? I mean, you've led the nation in terms of the biblical messages about caring. How have you tangibly done so?
Thank you so much for having us, Professor Hamilton. Thank you so much, Honorable Chin, for having us and for providing these care packages. Truly, OSJ has been grateful to Lasco and its continuing partnership in really servicing the communities and serving the communities. Operation Save Jamaica is an organization that seeks to bring transformation to individuals, communities, and then the nation. And we're really passionate about our communities. We have a four-pronged approach that looks at education, entrepreneurship, which we've really partnered with Lasco in, peace and justice, and youth, family, and community renewal. Now, in this time of COVID, that was very difficult. What we found was that a lot of our elderly persons, elderly members of the communities, they were unable to leave their community as they were one of the most vulnerable. And so we felt that there was really a need, you know, from hearing from some of our community liaisons, which you'll hear from one a little bit later, that it would really be important to serve them in this way. So we partnered with Transform Life Church and many other churches, Upper Room Christian Community Church, and many other churches to deliver some of these care packages. Churches, as we know, tend to be mainstays in these communities, permanent fixtures, and they, over the years, have been doing their own way. They've also been serving the communities in different ways. And during this time, many of the churches were serving the communities on their own. But as you know, the service and what was needed, the packages were short in supply. So we were able to partner with Lasco and partner with about 10 churches in being able to disseminate packages to Majestic Gardens, Trenchtown, in St. Mary, and we were also able to give some care packages to Horizon Remand Center. And truly, it was a blessing to the community. And we're just going to hear a little bit from Lionel Harris. He is from Majestic Gardens community. He's our liaison there, and he's the chairman of Positive Impact Inc., a CBO in Majestic Gardens, and the vice president of the Majestic Gardens Benevolent Society. Lionel?
Yes, good morning.
Hi, Nina.
Is everyone...
Nina, how are you? Morning.
Yeah, man, I'm doing okay. I just want to say what the older persons in the community, because of the pandemic, they were unable to come out to get support from St. Andrew Settlement, who normally offers them support during the years. So because of this now, you know, we had reached out to to Pastor Bruce and to Professor Hamilton, asking if there was some way that we could get some assistance with these elderlies, and you guys responded a lot quickly, and we really appreciate it. It came in at a time when it was very needed, because as I said, the older persons here would normally rely on St. Andrew Settlement, and they weren't getting much assistance during this time because they had to stay home because of the stay-at-home orders. And it came in on time, and I've been getting good response from the persons who receive the packages. They are very much appreciative, and I just want to tell you guys thanks much for your assistance here. Through OSJ, TLC, and Lasco Foundation, you guys have really assisted Majestic Gardens in a very good way.
Thank you so much, Lionel. And I know that this community had faced a spate of violence just a few months before COVID. So you've had a series of challenges. I want to thank you as a young man in that community for doing outstanding work. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, man.
I also wanted to remind our audience that I hope you're hearing that it's not just our partnerships, but there are also partnerships with partners. And so you just heard Operation Save Jamaica talk about their partnership with 10 other churches to make this all possible. And there are other organizations. We're going to hear about 2, 3 of them now who have major partnerships across the world with our alumni. So I'm going to now ask Lisa to show us a video about caring about our students and families during COVID.
The Jamaica Alumni Association of High Schools was conceptualized back in November 2016. Since the inception of the project, the feedback has been very great. The partnership started with a conversation with the president of UJA and myself to see how in this pandemic we could reach out to our schools in carrying out our mandate.
That first week and 3 days, we managed to get orders, 371 orders for 20 schools total. So I think we are off to a wonderful start.
Luckily, the UJA had an association with the Lasco Foundation. So it was a no-brainer that the partnership would include the Lasco Foundation through the CEO, Professor Rosalia Hamilton.
And we talk about it's more than a package because it's the thought behind it, it's the care, it's the love, and it's also making the connections between organizations who are connected to the beneficiaries in one way or the other.
This move, led by Lasco, in my mind is unprecedented. It is very timely. It has come at a time when I can tell you that the parents and students of this institution would have needed it the most.
Most of our parents here are employed in the hotel industry, and because of that, they are home out of work. And hence today we come, we reach out to different persons in the community, namely the Alumni Association, to see how best we can, lend some support to them. So here we are giving some care packages because these persons are at home not able to work to provide for their family.
With the current pandemic and our children being at home, a few of our parents have confided in us, teachers and principal, indicating that they don't have money to adequately provide for the children's needs, food and basic items. And so this will go a long way. We want to say a big thank you to the Union of Jamaica Alumni Association and the Lasco Foundation.
Being a boarding school, we provide 3 meals for the children, and some are not able to provide for themselves and would have had difficulty at home. They will appreciate what has been done and what the WOGA is doing along with UAJ, JAS, and the Lasco Chin Foundation. During this pandemic period where we have this serious crisis, you would understand that at this time it is really challenging for us. And that was one of my concerns, so I would have expressed that to our Alumni Association in New York, and they have helped us so very well, partnering with Lasco. So I must express thanks on behalf of all of us.
On behalf of the York Castle High alumni, and that is representing all the Canadian body, of course, the hardworking Florida body, and of course, very enthusiastic New York body. Hello, Dwight and the crew. We thank you though, because your spend, you have acquired this for so many children. We welcome you, we thank you for caring. And we say thanks to Lasco Foundation.
Yes, indeed.
Enough love.
We are in unprecedented times, and we know that the one thing we all have in common is that we all need to eat. And for those of us who are able to maybe afford, because we still have a job, we're among the fortunate ones, but there are many whose parents have even lost their jobs. We had students before who were in need because they're on path. So we are grateful for the donation and for the hope it brings to those who receive the packages.
I'm really grateful for the foundation, which has donated these packages to our most needy and vulnerable students. They are well appreciated because here at Meadowbrook we try to assist everyone. We do not want to leave anybody behind. And so if we have someone who is in need, we're going to seek, find, and try to find a way to assist them. I'd like to thank UJA and also the Jamaica Alumni Association of High School for partnering with us to make this venture really a possible one.
I really want to thank everyone involved in this partnership. It's an awesome partnership. All the partners, the volunteers, it speaks to the power of us working together. I'm really pleased that the UJAA and the JAAHS agreed to partner with the Lasco Chin Foundation. This kind of partnership is what we support, is what we promote, because we know that no one organization can do what it takes to meet the awesome needs that are required now in the context of this pandemic. As we say in Lasco, helping hands for a better Jamaica.
Wow, awesome. Leslie Ann Samuels, you're the president of the UJAA, the Union of Jamaican Alumni Association. Wow, give us a quick feedback.
Wasn't that awesome? I tell you. Thank you so much, Professor Hamilton, Chairman Chin, fellow alumni leaders, and all my colleagues on the call. I am truly proud to be a part of this effort, this COVID-19 care package project. It illustrates that, just as Professor Hamilton said at the outset, it allowed us to go together to do what none of us could easily have done alone. So I am truly, truly thankful for the collaboration. I think of the broader alumni community, including Canada, who was not a part of this video, but I am sure we will hear from them, the Alliance of Jamaican Alumni Associations, because it has enabled us to help our students at this very, very difficult time. After only 4 weeks, we have ordered over 1,200 care packages, and I'm sure we have many, many more to go.
And how many members in your organization, Leslie Ann?
I have 57 alumni associations in my organization, and we support 63 schools.
Yeah, that's the power of partnerships.
You can see from the program that it's not just our schools that are part of this,
Right, so
you come forward, you donate, we're good. We're here to help.
And you mentioned Rona Donwell, the new kid on the block in this alumni relationship. And Rona is the president of the Alliance of Jamaican Alumni Associations based in Canada from Toronto. And so Rona, tell us, why did you decide to jump on board?
Oh, wow. How could I not jump on board when I see the results and how the partnership has been able to help all the students in Jamaica? So let me just back up and say thanks to you, Professor Hamilton, and to Chairman Chen, and to you, Ja, for making us aware of this program. And we are extremely proud to be able to partner with Lasco Chin Foundation and Jazz, trusted and reliable partner. And thanks to all of you for paving the way. When we became aware of this program, I was over the moon. I just was so excited, enthusiastic, and it didn't take long to convince everyone else around me that this was a great thing. So we're on board. We're happy to be on board. We share the same passion for our youth and the vulnerable ones in our beloved homeland, and we're just happy to be able to partner with Lasco Chin and Jazz. And
we're happy to have you.
And so excited.
Yes.
We're a little bit, slow out of the gate. We're the last to come on board, but already we have been able to send some orders down to Lasco in the past week.
Yeah, I don't know about slow, because 44 in the first few days of starting is a lot.
Well,
you burst through the gates flying. So we're looking forward to your ongoing support. And Carla Mary from the Jamaica Alumni Association of High Schools based here in Jamaica, she's been awesome, picking up these packages, going to the schools, liaising with the principals, etc. Carla, give us a quick feedback. Oh, Carla.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Really awesome. Jazz is really very appreciative of the opportunity to assist and to be the feet on the ground, bringing the donations from the diaspora into the hands of the students and their families. And just looking back at the video, the visits that we make to the schools and so on, and seeing the responses from the different persons, it's really fulfilling. And we're happy. We're very happy to be a part of this initiative.
All right, and we're happy to have you. Thank you, guys. You've been doing a great job. All right, well, the Jamaicans in the diaspora, including second and third generation Jamaicans, love Jamaica. We know that, right? It's not just the ties to the schools, but to jerk chicken and reggae music and coconut water and everything, right? JD TAN, the Jamaica Diaspora Task Force Action Network, has been part of this partnership, and they have been also out there soliciting support. Tell us, Cherie Davis, who's been leading this effort, tell us how you've cared.
So JD TAN approaches it from a different perspective because, as you said, our diaspora is worldwide. JD TAN itself has over 15 task force. We have over 400 members. We're in 20 plus countries. And so as you have everyone over the world seeing the impact of this pandemic, we all still want to reach out. We want to know that people at home, our families, our friends, our communities, the foundation of who we are, that they are helped as well. And so JD TAN stepped up and formed a new task force specifically for this, aimed at COVID relief. And what it does really, it's because of, it can be difficult in a time like this to determine where is the best place to give. So JD TAN provided that link throughout the different countries to say, we will provide a pipeline to provide that link so that you can donate in a place where you'll know where your money is going, you'll know what it's buying, and you'll know the communities it's going to. So there's full transparency. And we thank you, Prof, for that opportunity to partner with you with Lasco Chin Foundation and to the team for helping. So because of that partnership, what we have been able to do is provide that conduit for members of the diaspora, and not only Jamaicans and second generations, but friends of Jamaica as well. Jamaicans are proud people, so there's nowhere that we go that people don't know who we are. And as we make friendships, they also become very, very fond of Jamaica and have loyalty to us as well. And so we've seen a lot of contributions from that angle as well. So JD Tan, in addition to doing this relief, what we have done is formed our networks, bonded together to get donations in, made sure that those got to the hands of Lasco. Lasco has been invaluable in setting up that pipeline with AFJ so that we have a secure way to do that. I want to say thank you to Dominique, to Jeremy, to Tahira. Without y'all partnering with us, this would not have been possible. And it has been a very smooth and a very professionally and well done partnership to date, and will continue to be that way. So we just thank you. The video that we'll share, we don't have a beneficiary online, mainly because we want to help so many different areas. But what we'll do is show just some of the donors, to speak to one specific donor, show why the donors are giving, and then show how that translates from JD Tan to Lasco Chin back into the community, including McNee. That's one of the areas that we've given back to. So thank you so much.
At the heart of the partnership between JD Tan and Lasco Chin Foundation is the theme People First. And People First resonates with us because we have a connection to the people of Jamaica. They are our people. We are one. We are Jamaicans, no matter where we are around the world. And so it was easy for us to pull from our filled cups to give back to our own people, our communities, our families. These people are seriously in need of help. And so it is easy for us to give back to them.
My name is Adolph Mitchell, and I'm from Jamaica. I currently live in Southern California. And I thought it would be a good time for me to give something back. I wanted to give back and donate it to the COVID efforts that's happening in Jamaica.
Why do you want to give back to Jamaica?
I want to give back to Jamaica because that's my home. That's the land of my birth. No, any opportunity I have to give back to the land of my birth, my country, I still call Jamaica home, even though I'm not living there. I will, take that opportunity to contribute whatever I can, whenever I can. Send a message that even though we don't live there, we're still dedicated to the island and the people of the island, and we will contribute and donate whenever we can. That makes me feel happy that I'm able to help, and that's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to know that, my donation, although it wasn't a tremendous amount of money, but it was it's being put to good use, and I'm glad to know that it's helping those people less fortunate than myself. That the donation that I gave was able to help as many people as it did, and I'm happy that this organization is doing the things it's doing to help those less fortunate than we are. So I'm very happy to hear how it's being utilized.
Thank you, Lasco Chin Foundation. And JD Tan, thank you so much.
Wonderful. Wow. An awesome network in the diaspora. Listen out for the work that they continue to do, the JD Tan. We also have international connections, organizations based in the world, doing good across the world, have also been part of this network. And I want to now introduce you to the International Samaritan Jamaica representative, Sandrina Davis. She's a country director. And this organization works with people living in garbage dump communities across the world and help them to break out of poverty. Tell us, Sandrina, how did you show that you care?
Good morning, everyone. So happy to be sharing this morning, and also just feeling full listening to all the different stories. I'm so happy to hear, about the wonderful work that all, I call them our partners, have been doing. But International Samaritan, as you have said, really works hand in hand with persons across garbage dump communities, really helping them to break out of poverty. And the hand-in-hand approach is what we're particularly proud of in Jamaica. And one of our projects is our step-by-step scholarship program. So last year, August, we had 50 students, 50 bright minds with even brighter futures out of the Riverton community that we have been supporting with their education. And so when COVID-19 touchdown in Jamaica, as it were, we had to decide on how we wanted to respond. And so with our students being home, spending every single day at home, we knew it would be a challenge for the parents to, provide food, especially as they're growing. They eat a lot. And so we were looking for who could we partner with to make sure that we were giving quality packages to our families with a brand that they love and a brand that they trust, but also an organization that was responsible and professional and would have handled it the way we wanted to. Lasco Chin Foundation was the perfect choice. The team was professional, and they helped us to deliver these packages to 41 families in Riverton. We look forward to continuing working with Lasco Chin Foundation, and our families were very, very appreciative of the donations. I have to point out the fact that the packages were just so multi-purpose, not just food, but cleaning supplies and vitamins and fruits. Like, who does that? So kudos to Lasco Chin Foundation. And the video that you will watch right after I'm done talking just showcases a little bit of what happened on the day that we did the handover, and you will hear from two of our beneficiaries. But we're very happy to have been partnering with this project, and we look forward to working alongside some of even the other organizations that are on this call this morning. So thank you very much, Lasco Chin, and my hats are raised to everyone who is doing good work during COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna see your video now, yeah? Good.
My name is Tian and my daughter Sam. We are just saying you thanks for all that they have done for us so far. And with the COVID-19, it's been a little up and down, but we have to learn to live with it for now until this thing is over. And whatever you guys are doing for us and for others, we're grateful for it and we thank God. And I hope you will continue to help others and God riches blessings upon you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Samara, and I would like to say thank you to the International Samaritan for the donation that you made, both for the care package and for the money. Thank you a lot, and it really helped.
All right, wonderful. Just hearing those words. Thank you for caring, really. All right, we're gonna move on. The Bureau of Gender Affairs, they know and they understand how disproportionately women have been affected by this pandemic. So I want you to hear from Abigail Clark from the Bureau of Gender Affairs, and she's going to tell us how the Bureau showed that they care during this pandemic. Abigail, over to you.
Hi, good morning, Professor Hamilton. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and good morning to you, Chairman, Honorable Lasco Chin. First and foremost, I must start off by saying that I'm very happy to be a part of the discussion this morning and to present Mrs. Sharon Cohen Robinson, our Senior Director, who is tuned in with us as well, Mrs. Rob, from the Bureau of Gender Affairs. So to answer your question, Professor Hamilton, women were disproportionately affected by the COVID-19 crisis. However, as a national gender machinery, we had to do a gender transformative response to mitigate the impact of the crisis. So even though women were disproportionately affected, we had to ensure that our men and boys were also included in our response to mitigate the COVID-19 crisis. And this was done through the provision of care packages to 245 beneficiaries, with 52 males and 193 females. And it was in the parishes mainly from Kingston and St. Anne,
Abby, you're...
It was muted by the host. Are you hearing me now? Are you hearing me?
Yeah, yes, you're hearing you now. Not sure what happened there. Keep going.
You said the host muted. I don't know. You hearing me again?
Yeah, we're hearing you. Keep going.
Okay, no problem. Right, and I was just pretty much explaining the beneficiaries were from the parishes of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Portland, St. Mary, Clarendon, and St. Elizabeth. And just to give us a quick classification of the beneficiaries, we had household workers who were part of it, and we got that through Jamaica Household Workers Union. We have, as a gender machinery, you know, one of our main portfolios is not only mainstream gender, but also help to eliminate and reduce incidences of gender-based violence. So we had to include in our care packages, you know, to victims and survivors of gender-based violence, to community groups that we have worked with that saw the need and recognized that, you know, persons within their communities needed assistance. So we got that through our community liaison branch. And also we partnered with non-governmental organizations like St. Anne Disability Association, Benevolent Society, because we try to ensure that we include our disability family in everything that we do. And also the Jamaica Red Cross in Portland was one of our beneficiary. So before I actually introduce our beneficiary and she just say a few words, I just want to say thank you to Lasco Chin Foundation for this partnership and for making our care package venture a success. And we look forward to future partnership as always with Lasco Chin Foundation. So I will now ask Ms. Carrie Forrester from the Jamaica Red Cross in Portland just to say a few words to talk about it as a beneficiary from our care package venture. Over to you, Ms. Forrester.
Good morning to all the panels, all the persons on the panel. Just want to say thanks to the Bureau of Gender Affairs through Ms. Abigail Clark for having me as a point person to the Bureau of Gender Affairs. I want to say a great thank you to the Lasco Chin Foundation for the well-needed care packages that was given to us during the pandemic. The beneficiaries were really, really grateful. They expressed their thanks, you know. They said the packages were good. They showed their gratitude and their thanks, you know. Overall, they send thanks to everyone involved.
Great. Thank you so much. Really glad to hear from you. We're going to wrap up these presentations now by hearing from Senator Floyd Morris. To Jamaica, Senator needs no introduction. He's been a champion for the disabled community. And, you know, this is a community that has not been given the attention it ought to. And so we were very, very pleased when Senator Morris reached out to us and said, you know, how can we partner? And we were ready and willing to partner with him. Senator, over to you. Tell us how you showed your love and your care.
Thanks very much, Prof, and thanks to the Honorable Laschins for his continued generosity to the people of Jamaica, and may God bless him with good health and long life. You know, I'm very happy always whenever I reach out to Professor Hamilton, wherever she is. She has always responded in a positive manner. And myself and my wife had planned to dip into our reserve and give back to one of the vulnerable groups in the community that we have been championing for, persons with disabilities. And we decided that we were going to team up with the Combined Disabilities Association, which is a grassroots organization catering to the needs of persons with disabilities. And, you know, the CDA was extremely responsive. And so what we did was to secure some of the care packages from Lasco Foundation and added some additional stuff to those care packages and gave 200 packages to persons with disabilities across the island. And I can tell you They were extremely appreciative of the items, and we are looking forward to seeing how we can continue the assistance, because the need among the population of persons with disabilities extremely great. It's one of the most vulnerable groups within the society, with over data showing over 91% of the population being unemployed. So you can understand what a crisis such as this brought on by COVID-19 would mean for the population. And so we are making an appeal to all the groups that are here and have been distributing and assisting the communities to make sure that when they do, that they take into consideration the needs of persons with disabilities, and they can either work through the Combined Disabilities Association or the Center for Disability Studies at the University of the West Indies that I lead. We are only willing and ready to assist. And commendation to all the teams that have come together at this time to assist the most vulnerable in the Jamaican society. And my heart goes out especially to the Lasco Foundation.
Thank you so much, Senator, former President of the Senate of Jamaica. Really, really appreciate your kind words as we wrap up this segment. You've heard from our partners, you've heard about the impact they've had in the lives of thousands of Jamaicans. I want to share in wrapping up a summary of our collective impact and our response to the COVID-19 crisis. During the period when we just started, the first case was announced in Jamaica March 10th to today. We're talking about 3 months. So I'm going to just, we're gonna just go through this presentation so you get a sense of exactly where we are. What I did is the first of the group here, we have 11 of our partners here, and we did a quick summary of 9 of them. And the 9 partners, we're all, including Lasco Chin Foundation, we're all in education, all of us. Our main beneficiaries are the youth, at-risk youth, and our reach is in 14 parishes across Jamaica, mainly in Kingston, St. Andrew, but also St. James, St. Mary, and Trelawney. Now, in the next slide, what you'll see is that I tried to capture here how COVID-19 has impacted organizations. And what you see is that the main impact has been to reorganize and to wheel and come again, as we say in Jamaica, to make sure that we can adjust. And we also canceled some activities and reduced some activities. So that was the main response. The other question was, how did the organizations respond? And what we saw is that all the partners, as we know, we've been talking about it, responded by providing food and other basic necessities. But importantly, we all started new activities. So in spite of our reduction of activities, we did strategically start new activities. I think that's also quite significant. The other thing that we asked was the extent to which we forged new organizational relationships. That was also very surprising that all of us did. Surprising because, you kind of look through your lens and you said, well, you wonder how much other relationships that been forged. Well, here you have it. 9 organizations, all of us forged new relationships. And very interestingly, the number of relationship was quite significant. 42 collectively, just 9 organizations, 42 new relationships. All right, so what I want to do now is to just wrap up by telling you what all our partners together did to date. In terms of numbers of partners, we have 33 partners that have collaborated to provide not just care packages, but also feeding programs. And Senator, you'll be pleased to know that the Adonesia Group of Schools is part of that, Best Care Foundation. These are all organizations that target special needs communities. There are other organizations, Excelsior, reaching out to the Mountain View community, Hope Worldwide International, to a group of inner city women. I want to mention JD Deals because to put the package together, we needed cost-effective bags and other supplies, and we were able to get a partner there. He was very pleased with the work we're doing and provided some support. We have the Joytown Community Development Foundation, St. Mary, the Jamaica Producers St. Mary Heritage Project. This is a very significant support in helping farmers. They partner with the farmers, and through that collaboration, we're able to include in the packages green bananas, right? So thank you, JP, for that support. Of course, the hairdressers also negatively impacted by COVID-19. La Femme Jolie, Imogen Todd Watson, someone who really wanted to reach out and touch not only hairdressers, but also the elderly. I want to also mention the work of Rowan Edwards in the Lighthouse Assembly, Church of God, other churches, Lutheran, our ministry, my friends at the OMS Associates, Padmore High School. There's a feeding program that Keisha Hale is doing there. RADA, again with the agriculture. As you see, there's a lot, and I'm trying to move very quickly, but I do want to mention some of these organizations because they've done extremely well. Lorna Stanley from the Strong Women Ministry, phenomenal work, reaching out to her friends in the diaspora, providing not just care packages, but entrepreneurial support to young women. Trees That Feed, Mary McLaughlin, making sure that we plant the food that we need to planting trees. So there are a number of other organizations. I'm sure I didn't mention some, but they all made this possible. And what did they do? They were able to provide together collectively 14,185 packages to date. A total value of just the packages alone of about 240,000 US dollars, not including all the volunteer work and the professional time and so on that's involved. And all of that collectively benefited about 50,000 Jamaicans. Each package we estimate will benefit at least 3 to 4 persons, and that's our collective impact. It has been awesome. And I want to truly thank all the partners who have made this possible. Very importantly, I want to thank the team at the Lasco Chin Foundation for putting all of this together. It was through their help that and unselfish work, in spite of all the odds of COVID that they personally and their family had to go through, stepped up to the plate to make this possible. Tahira Fraser, she's our operations manager. Lisa Bender, working out of Mandeville throughout this period. Jermaine Walters. Shahid Simpson, a young man who stepped up to the plate, became our warehouse manager, and he provided the kind of work that was needed to organize that warehouse and keep it done. Our social media team, Jeremy Walsh, Dominique, Roxanne, and our videographer, Leah Hudson. All of you work together. I want to also give a special thank you to the team at the Lasco Distributors Limited, as well as Lasco Manufacturers and the Lasco Financial Services Limited. We all came together, provided us support. Some of them volunteered to make it possible, and together we did it. So we've completely run out of time. I just want to thank you all for making the time this morning to share your awesome experience. And I know that together we will continue to do more. Thank you so much.